Hey everybody, this is Andrew Lucio from Game Master, and I'm here with Anthony Hernandez, somebody that you may or may not know. But in order to get to know him, we're going to go ahead and reintroduce him to all the people who haven't had a chance to actually grow up within the game with him. So, Anthony, can you do me a favor and kind of tell everybody what you've done in the game since the beginning of the game, how you got into the game, and why they should say, oh man, I should listen to this guy.
All right, thanks, Andrew. Well, all right, guys. So I was the first person who won the, you can say, the event that Bandai brought towards like the community. They decided to do this Indianapolis event where it was the first tournament. They wanted to see where the game was at. I went over there. It was last year, 2017, and it was a pretty decent turnout. It was over 50 players that attended, and I was able to win that event. From there moving forward, there were a lot of events that ARG held. Again, credit to Jim, and I was able to win and top those events. Moving from that point perspective, regional season happened. So that's when everyone started getting caught up in the game, and a lot of players were just wanting more because we wanted a competitive scene, and Bandai delivered. So we had our first regional season, and from that season, I ended up topping roughly 7 to 8 events with having my 2 wins, which were ARG exclusive. When Jim decided to do basically, it was in total 3Ks. It was like 1,000 to first place, 500 to second, et cetera, et cetera. So
those were all store credit, though, right?
Yeah, those were all store credit. So it wasn't cash; it was just store credit. You would go on the ARG website and order whatever product you want, or in person, if you're at one of their conventions, you can order product. And so it was really cool. I have a good amount of experience in the game, in terms of from the beginning till now with the current format. Moving forward from that, I guess the reason why people should be listening is because I legitimately try my best to help others. When it comes down to learning the game and being good at it, I give my honest advice on decks. Sometimes I will let you know up front if something's good or if something's not so good.
Yeah.
And it's just, every card game you have good cards and not so good. So that's just how it is. And I'm always building the most competitive decks to, go up against the format. And that's what I like to do.
And I'm going to tell you like this. As far as Anthony's concerned, there's not a lot of individuals that are willing to put themselves out there and say you should invest in something, do something as far as a particular deck is concerned, and then also be able to go into competition against some of the best players in the country and be able to give results. I mean, there's a few people that are doing it right now. A big shout out to Combs. He's doing it, and he's out there, and he's telling people, hey, play this. And he's got a couple of people that are getting tops. But Anthony, I'm telling you right now, is the guy you really want to listen to. He has a very keen insight for the game, and that comes from all the Naruto he's played, the Yu-Gi-Oh he's played. He was doing well in other card games, but like for all of us, Dragon Ball is just a really special IP. It's something that a lot of us grew up with, and I think I can speak for Anthony on this. It's just so beloved, and it's definitely something that all of us want to be really good at. So in order to make the community better and get everyone up to a place where we all want to be as competitive as possible, we need guys like Anthony and Katani and Combs that are putting themselves out there and saying, hey, I've got a keen insight on something, and I'm brave enough to say that I'll stake my credibility on this deck being very good or this card being very good. And that's why a lot of people go to his Patreon, which you can definitely do as well. I think it's called All About You.
All About You.
Tell us a little bit about the Patreon.
Yeah, sure. So on the Patreon, I have just like, it's like your typical Patreon where you have like tier lists, but it's based on how much knowledge you want to know. So if you want a deck list and for me to like revise any ideas you have, I'll sit down with you. We'll go over, we'll have a phone chat, or we could just message each other back and forth, and you can get the results you want. We'll get the deck to where you want it, and then we'll both test it together. So not only you test it, but I will be testing it to make sure that it's good, the ratios are good enough to bring results. But it's just a place where you learn. So if you really have a passion about the game, you go there, you can learn more, and it's something that you do on your own leisure. We figure out a way to work.
Yeah. Just remember this: everything costs time, and time costs money. So Patreon is a way for you to say, I like this individual. They're giving me a lot of insight. They're giving me a lot of education when it comes to things that I want to learn about, and I want to give back to them a little bit so that way they can afford to take the time out of their day to help me. Because I'm going to tell you right now, there are 13,000 plus in this group.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people. So if everyone came to you at one time, you'd have to stop doing everything. And I tell you, if you're going to do that and you're going to invest that kind of time, that person should be rewarded. That's why Patreon, I think Combs has a Patreon, and I think PPG, they've got a Patreon. Not all Patreons are similar. Definitely investigate each one before you actually commit, but getting on to Anthony Hernandez Patreon is definitely worth it. He's got a lot of insight. Now, I know you said that you're doing some reworks, and there's definitely going to be some changes coming to your Patreon.
Absolutely.
So look forward to that. You know?
Yeah, it's going to be revamped a little because I want to make sure that people could be a part of it and still afford it. Because in the past, put it this way, I had players that wanted to stay on my Patreon, but it was just costing them a little too much for the amount of help that I can give them. You know, even though I devote a lot of time to them, it's still, you know, at the end of the month, you're paying $50, $40. So, you know, that still adds up to your actual bills that you have in your life. Yeah. So I'm going to revamp it, and I'm going to come up with a system that works best, and you guys will let me know. And I also let you Patreons, like individuals that are part of my family, so to speak, you guys get to like help me revamp. We're all learning. You know, I'm learning from you, you're learning from me. So we're just taking ideas to make the best environment we can there. But if you do want to like learn about content of the game, you can also visit the YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel the same. It's called All About You, and I put down decks. I put up there decks that have been accomplished and have been winning and, you know, topping and performing. Every event that I go to, I always have people, the top guys, doing their best. I have their profiles and the reason why they play the deck, and we go through the full breakdown of things, you know, so that you can understand why cards are good and why cards obviously probably shouldn't be played in those decks. And we also go through the experiences, because in any card game that you play, experiences is what makes you want to continue going and playing it. You know, so outside of that, that's pretty much on that topic.
But that's a good segue into the topic that we're going to talk about right now. And recently, Anthony got on a plane and took himself all the way from the Bronx, Brooklyn Stadium. He'll say that 50,000 times. I'm telling you right now, every time he's like Bronx, Brooklyn Stadium, as if there's like 5 different places in the Bronx that he wants to make sure you associate him with the right one. But he flew all the way down here to Texas. He competed in the Iron Warrior event. We're talking a cash money event. We gave out $2,500 cold cash. We had him come down here. He came down here. He competed. Let's talk about that. Tell us about your experience with the players, the decks you saw, the event staff. Just give us a full breakdown.
All right. So for starters, you know, when I got down over here, before I even knew what I was going to do, it was like, I spoke to Andrew and I told him, like, you know, this event sounds great. I saw like the headline for it, and I was like, you know what, I want to be a part of that. So we spoke. He gave me all the details. Then I came down here. When I came down here, you know, Andrew is a phenomenal person. I have to mention that, you know, he made sure that I was good to go, because I didn't know if I was going to afford the trip. You know, at some point I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, you know, spend $500, $600, $700. So he helped me and we worked through pricing so that I was able to come. When I got here, I ended up meeting some of the players, and the players are phenomenal people. It's like a family when you go to this card shop. It's great. You know, I was able to speak to... That
card shop is Game Master, by the way.
Correct.
Representing Rowlett. Game Master for all your gaming needs.
Of course. Right. And it's a great shop. Again, the people here is also what makes it like a great experience to be a part of. So I met up with a lot of individuals. We spoke about ideas, and, you know, everyone just wanted to keep learning, and everyone was teaching one another. So this was like the first day. This was on, Friday?
Yep.
This was on Friday. So then on Saturday was the event. So we went to Brick House Gaming.
Brick House Games, representing Garland, Texas, for all your gaming needs in Garland, Texas. Not Rowlett, but we're like sister stores, you know? It's like Jared and Taylor, they're holding down Garland, I'm holding down Rowlett. You know what I'm saying? I can't say Yankee Stadium for Rowlett, but I will say 66, off of 66.
Absolutely. So, you know, we get down over there, and, you know, you have the staff working on to make sure that the event is going to go smooth. Everyone's setting up tables or setting up everything, and, you know, it was great. So moving forward, I start seeing people coming in, and I'm like meeting and greeting with individuals, and I see that everyone is like really dedicated. There was like a variety of different skill-leveled opponents that ended up showing up for the event, and I just noticed that it's something that I don't see often. You know, I don't see individuals that care or love for a game and they just participate in, they want to compete regardless how well or how good they think they may perform. Some guys were going in there to win it, while other guys were like, you know what, let me just get my feet wet. Let me just test out the waters and see how it is. And, win or lose, I'm going to have a great time. And that's how it was. So we had, what was it? How many people ended up showing? Like 24? 20?
I'll tell you like this. At the end of the day, we had, I think, officially 27 people.
Okay.
2 of those individuals dropped out, so we had 25 actually finish out the event. And we wanted 100 people. And sometimes when you're doing an event, and I know that the other TOs can vouch for this, you don't get the kind of turnout that you were expecting. And that happens, and it's unfortunate. But what I wanted to ensure is that the individuals who did show up, number one, they were going to be able to compete in the exact event that was detailed out, and number 2, that they would get exactly what they were told they would get. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, one, what Andrew just said is it was phenomenal. So despite the attendance being lower than what they wanted to hit, unfortunately, the prize payout was exactly the same. First place ended up getting $1K, second place $500, third and fourth $250, and so on and so forth. Fifth through eighth $125. It was amazing. And it was, it was like when I looked at it, I was like, wow, I guess a lot of people don't want money so much. But, and I kept making that reference because I'm like, wow, like we go to all these places. Like I've been to so many tournaments. I've been to regionals, people, just local car shops trying to host their own special events. And I saw this as an opportunity to have fun and also make it worth your time when you're at an event. Being able to say, hey, with your family or your friends, hey, I just went to this event and I just won $1,000 from it. I had a good weekend or a good day, and it was like, it's just a privilege to have people like Andrew and other TOs host these type of events and again give us a good time and something worth it. So that was one. So I wanted to mention that. Also, the competition, guys. I noticed a lot of people are always talking about Florida is the best or New York is the best or so on and so forth. You got to realize there's people around the world that's right now playing this game that are good. When I came to Texas, I had some of my friends were like, "Oh, it's gonna be free for you, Ant. It's gonna be there's no competition. You're gonna win it all." And they're like, "You could play any deck." And I was like, "Whoa! Like, nothing is that free." Like, I used to use the terminology for fun, but when you're going to a competition, you have to expect that people are also going to be prepared. And and a lot of the people in Texas, you had a good point, even though it wasn't a huge turnout. Half the guys that showed up were ready to try to win the event. They weren't kidding. They were
the best players in the area,
absolutely.
Especially this northeast part of Texas. They play here at Game Master. So anybody that's watching that's in Texas, that's close enough to Rowlett, and I'm talking, we got guys that drive over an hour, like guys that drive out from Denton and beyond that to get here to play with us. We do it 3 days a week. We do it 1 day over at Brickhouse Games. 4 days a week in this area. These guys are putting in the reps. And they're putting in the time and the energy and the effort, just like Anthony and the Hill Twins and Peter Catani and Marcel and all those guys in Florida, Rios, all those guys. Everyone's putting in time, and that translates into skill and ability. And when skill and ability and preparation all combine together, success.
Yeah, your performance is going to be great. And, so moving into this tournament, even though, again, the turnout was lower, we had a 10-round gauntlet. It was basically a gauntlet, guys. Like, I kid you not, 10 rounds is grueling. I haven't played in a 10-round event since, like, the days of, like, Naruto, and that was, like, when we had, like, our own special events, which that was a rare occasion. And I was, like, I have to admit, when I came in, I was ready. I felt well-rested. But then as the rounds start going, you're in round 5, 6, 7, 8, and it starts getting tired. Now, one thing I have to say is that if it wasn't for Andrew giving us an hour lunch break, forget it. 1 hour, guys, 1 hour. We were able to leave after round 4.
Yep.
And from there, I went out with the guys, the same guys I'm competing against. We all went out like a family. We went and grabbed some food, came back, and we were ready. We were ready to keep playing, and that's something that we don't get that often from other tournament experiences.
I would really like to see that more. So hopefully any tournament organizers that are thinking about doing big events, hopefully Jim is watching this or George Machado, an hour lunch break would be super great. I know a lot of guys are coming in there. They have low blood sugar issues. They're hypoglycemic, diabetes, whatever the case may be. It would be so great to be able to go recharge, refuel, spend a little time with the individuals that maybe you haven't seen from Nebraska or Montana or guys that
all
are flying
these places.
Yeah, I mean, like just a little bit of time to just kind of say, hey, we're all part of this global community and things like that. But regardless of all that stuff, I know that the time frames are very tight when you're renting out a place, but man, if we could just accommodate an hour lunch break, that would be super.
Yeah, and then the players will appreciate it.
Yes.
That's something that it was a success, and again, so the day went well. We had the top 8 bracket. I was able to make the top 8, and it was fun. I got to play my droid deck, androids, and I ended up playing against 9 Shenron decks and 1 Storm. So that was a little unfortunate, but that's a whole nother story, guys. I'm gonna definitely have a video on that. So if you do want to watch it, you can go onto the channel, on the YouTube channel, All About You, and you can see it. But moving forward, you want to talk a little bit about the cards?
Oh, sure.
So just released.
So here's the deal. Another thing, and this is kind of like a preview of all the things that you can get from his Patreon and all the things that you can get from watching a YouTube channel, and just effectively the type of value that he can add to the community. We're now going to go through and we're going to do a breakdown on all the cards that were just recently previewed. I can tell you right now, I'm super hyped, super excited for Clash of Fate to be coming out. It's great. Let's just go ahead. I'm gonna navigate over to the website, and we are going to look at one card after another. That's not the one I wanted. I want the official DBS website, and we're going to just talk about each individual cards. Now, we're not going to have this displayed as we're talking, but we're just going to kind of go through each one. One of the most exciting things that are coming out of this new set is going to be all the Bardock's Crew stuff. And I am super interested in the things that we're going to be able to do with Sands, because there are some really good cards. All right.
Oh, absolutely.
So, first card we're going to talk about, we're just going to start from the very top. We're going to go all the way to the end. We're going to go through all the colors. First card on there is the new leader Bardock card. Normal leader, he's got an awaken 4 or less. You can choose up to 2 of your energy, switch them to active mode, which I think, let's talk a little bit about that. So the dynamic from the earlier parts of sets 1 through 3, before we got into set 4 and we started untapping energy, we were drawing cards. Hand advantage is a very important part of this game. But being able to accelerate or being able to recover energy and defend yourself better, what would you say from the earliest parts of the game to the later parts of the game, as far as the leaders are concerned, is the biggest difference between drawing those cards and untapping the energy? And does one of them have more value to your deck than another?
Okay, well, to answer that question, first of all, drawing 2 cards is effective, as you were mentioning. It allows you to see more cards from deck, and it allows you to kind of fulfill certain strategies that you may have. When you're looking at a deck that needs pieces or needs certain resources, drawing cards, absolutely great. However, when you kind of turn around and you start saying, you know what, instead of drawing the 2, I'll be able to restore 2 energy, it allows you to actually set up plays where you can stay safe, where you can continue your plays, as in just like, for example, Storm. That's a deck that it constantly uses its energy to keep refueling itself. And as long as you have energy, you can keep your turn going on almost indefinitely, which is amazing. So the leaders that started off in the beginning to draw 2, they were great. But the game started evolving. And when it evolved, it started evolving into strategies where now you can do more in your turns than what you could do before. Yeah. And it's great defensively as well, because you can always be able to rely on 2 energy. I could play whatever I need full value, and then next turn, I can still untap 2 energy and be safe, or untap it on my turn. So you're never open as you were back then, where back then it was all about, all right, let me draw my 2, but let me make sure that I'm always saving energy up. And because you had to save energy up, even though you were drawing cards, you can't use all your cards. While in this format, when you're playing decks and leaders that can utilize energy in that manner, you're actually able to play more of your cards. So it's a give or take, but I have to say that Bandai kind of took it in the better direction, where it allows certain strategies to become viable.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, again, the draw to the energy, in my personal opinion, I think that all the leaders that are untapping energy are just going to give you a little bit more of an edge when it comes to the current meta because of the fact that the meta is so fast right now. So that's where I would put my 2 cents in on. And I think effectively what Anthony's saying is that in either situation, you got to find the leader that just feels right for you. But this one is an untapped 2 energy leader. He's blue, burst 2, when he attacks a leader card, specific, draw a card, and this card gets 5,000 power. So I think that they had to make that leader specific, considering the fact that you're going from a 10K to a 15K and drawing a card on the swing. Let's talk a little bit about him being a blue leader before we get to his backside and how effective it is that he's attacking a leader first and getting that 5,000 power. Is that going to allow him to really push the pace on these decks?
I do believe so. Right now, again, you have leaders that when they attack, they have a draw, but they don't have power. So this guy can actually hit you unawakened. You know, most awakened leaders at this point currently are 15K. So you're 15K and he's a 15K coming at you unawakened. That means that even if you're not awakened, you're still able to pressure your opponent. So it forces your opponent to play a game where they need to make sure that you're awakened at some point. Because I'm still touching you regardless if I'm awakened or not. And that's pretty effective. His now, I guess, his awakened side, it's really interesting. He has auto sparking, so sparking 5. When this card attacks, draw 1 card, and this card gains plus 5K power for the duration of the turn. So he maintains that same effect, but this time it requires sparking 5. So now he's hitting for a 20K value, which is strong. Early on, that can be very effective because now your opponent, they have to guard 10K. Unless they have a bean or something attached to them, they're going to be guarding for more value, which is great in the long run. And then auto, when this card is attacked, if a Bardock crew card is in your drop area, you may choose 1 card from your life and place it in your drop area, and if you do, negate that attack. So not only he can attack for damage and become a really strong leader, he's able to utilize his own engine to be able to stop your opponent's attacks.
This is not a once per turn effect. This is not a once per game effect. This is an every time he's attacked.
So as long as you have life, you can stop your opponent's key attacks. You have mirror? Nope, we're going to stop, and guess what? You can't bad ring me because it's an effect.
Okay, so big question. I know everybody's thinking about it right now. Will we see a return of results of training?
See, that's a hard one. That's a very hard one.
Results of training at 8 Live with Bardock.
Oh, he'll be amazing.
Goodness.
He'll be godlike. You know, it would be amazing because then you could utilize your 7, 8, whatever amount of life you have that's above pretty much 4, and be able to get a lot of value out of his effect.
A negate that can't be bad ringed.
Yeah, a negate that can't be bad ringed. But we never know. Maybe Bandai might make a new results of training.
Oh, that would be nice. Especially if they decide to go with a Bardock's Crew specific feature for a little more game balance, maybe.
Exactly. And that's another thing, you know. Making things a little bit more specific kind of creates a better diverse meta. So we can start seeing new decks, new archetypes just coming out in the mix and doing well. I guess moving forward, you go for it.
All right, Gina, Mother of Hope. She's a battle card. She's blue. She's a 0-5K, 1,000 power on the front side, uncommon, auto. When you combo with this card, if one of your blue Bardock cards is being attacked. Now, this Bardock is in alligator quotes. I can't remember what those are called. The alligators, okay? Not the squigglies, the alligators. So that means any Bardock as long as they are blue. Card is being attacked. This card gets 5,000 combo power for the duration of turn. So basically she turns into a super combo that doesn't draw you a card as long as it's a blue Bardock.
Yeah, she's a free 10K value, which is great. You know, it's going to make it's going to be cool, you know, being able to use cards like that because your opponent, you'll throw your opponent off. Their numbers, they already think they got you. They think that you're going to have to commit more cards. And you're like, nah, you know what? I'll just combo off the Gene. And they're like, dang, he just comboed off a Gene and it just gave him so much value, you know?
And I think that the design of this card is to ensure that when you place the, I think the big 5-drop guy down and he can attack multiple times, you'll be able to better protect him so that way you get more value out of him at the end.
True. And remember, she doesn't have to be on the board. She could be straight up from hand. It's when she's comboed. It doesn't say where.
The Dragon Ball Minus saga. That's a whole other conversation. All right, what's this next card we got?
All right, we got Kakarot, Bearer of Fate. He's a 5K, 0 cost, turn 1, 1K value. Auto, when you play this card, draw a card. So standard. He's a nice little draw card.
Like a boo.
Like a boo. Just a weak boo. And activate main. Place this card at the bottom of the owner's deck. Choose up to 1 Saiyan card with an energy cost of 1. in your drop area and add it to your hand. So now we have a card that's a little bit more better, a little more diverse than Boo. Boo just draws you a card. He draws you a card and says, hey, I can actually pick up that gene that we just went over and put that right back to my hand. So, yeah, we got a nice another 10K free combo ready to be activated.
And I know you guys are thinking, well, what are you going to talk about, Borges? We'll get there. Okay, yes, he's a one drop
yes,
too. We're going to talk about it. And also a Saiyan. So we're going to get in there. We're going to get in there. Prince Vegeta, Vanilla Skillless, 10K, one drop, Vegeta Youth. I kind of feel like they're going to get to a point where we get some Vegeta Youth specific stuff like we've gotten with Goku, Son Goku Childhood.
Yeah, true. I believe they will, you know, and maybe they might even have a theme for it too, which would be nice.
It would be nice.
Child's theme.
Yeah, and I'm just throwing this out there. It would be nice to kind of get a little more context about Vegeta growing up, because I mean, like after like all the training he did with Frieza and all that stuff, we don't have any context there. Like we just know that Frieza pretty much raised him.
Yeah, outside of his father.
Exactly.
You know. All right, so now we are going with Burnished Bonds Tora. So for starters, he's a 3-drop and a 2 blue commitment. He's a 5K combo piece and 15K value. Barrier, so that's a key word, because at least now you know when you stick him on board, he's going to probably stay around for a while. Now permanent, if a Bart or crew card is in your drop area, reduce the cost of this card in your hand by 1. So if you combo off that gene, you know, you could just play him right there on turn 2. So you got to pay 2 blue for him, but you could drop him on 2. Now activate main, this is interesting, it costs 3 blue. So place this card in the owner's drop area, choose up to 1 final strike Bardock from your deck or drop area and play it. Then shuffle the deck if you look through it. So this card is already giving you a nice advantage, because it's like, you know what, I'm barrier, I'm going to stick on the field, and I'm going to get reduced by 1 if I have one of my guys on in the drop area. And not only that, but when I'm ready to set up on you, I'm going to just pay the 3 blue and we're just going to get Bardock out and start doing our thing. So that's a really cool setup card, and it's great that it's themed, so it's specifically for that, not just random.
Yep.
But yeah,
that's a lot of value. I mean, anytime that you can blend specific effects, like this feels like an Android 17-18 effect. You know?
Yeah,
having something reduced based off of a specific trait. That's really fun. And when you start mixing in other things like barrier, then they're basically creating lines of play for you, and they're helping you figure out some really good combinations. So we got Planetary Invader Tora. He's a 1-drop, so like there's your line of play right there. 1-drop Planetary Invader Tora. 2-drop, we throw him down because he's reduced. 3, turn 3, we're going right into Final Strike. It all kind of thematically makes sense, because remember, goodbye old friend, Tora's the one dying there.
I know.
I'm just throwing it out there, thematics are important. But he's a 0 cost 5K combo. He's got 5K power on the board. His auto, when you play this card, choose up to 1 Bardock's crew card in your drop and add it to your hand. Now that has no cost.
Interesting, and that's pretty nice. I do like that.
That's going to be very nice. That's a lot of recursion to kind of reestablish lines of play when they get disrupted. Yeah, that's not too bad.
Not bad at all.
What do we got here?
Now we have Burnished Bonds Fasha. And by the way, Bandai, thank you for the art. The art is killer on these cards.
It's looking good.
Yeah, she's looking really cool. So she has critical. She's a 3-drop, also 2 commitment, blue, 15K, and a 5K combo piece. So she has permanent. If a Bardock's crew card is in your drop area, reduce the energy cost again by 1. So now we notice a trend with these guys coming out for 2 costs instead of 3. Activate main. Place this card in its owner's drop area. Choose up to 1 Bardock's crew card in your battle area and switch it to active mode. Now this is very crucial. For 1, she's a free cost, meaning that it doesn't cost you any energy to use that ability. And it's allowing you to restand a guy into active mode, which means that now there's many ways you can set up your plays, and it's really cool because these type of cards kind of create for a very you can't really predict. You can't really predict what your opponent's trying to do. They may attack you, then they may play her, attack you, then set up, pop her, use the renew one of the guys you already previously attacked with, attack you. That means that even if you have a negates don't hurt that much because she can get around that. Overall, a really nice card.
I think that's really good. I am very much on the bandwagon of 3-drop 15K critters because of the fact that hand advantage is very important in the game, and I think that we need more cards that are allowed to push the tempo of the game. no offense, but 60 minutes is a very long time for a round. I mean, in Magic, we do best 2 out of 3 in 52 minutes with 60 card decks, which have a lot more text. I think we, as a community, we need to get to a point where we're all playing a little bit faster. But that's a conversation for another time. Planetary Invader Fascia. She's a 1-drop. She's a 0-cost 5K combo piece. She has 5K power on the board. She's Bardock's crew, like this is the thematic that they're introducing. When she's played, you can look at up to 5 cards from the top of your deck, choose 1 Bardock's crew card from among them, and add it to your hand and then shuffle your deck. Now that's a nice change from the 3-card lookers that we've been getting most of the time. To get up to 5, I think that's really going to help accelerate the whole Bardock crew play. Yeah, consistency. And that's a big thing with Dan. Loves consistency. Okay, this is a good card. Let's move into Burnished Bonds Shugesh.
This is nice. So he's a 3-drop. He actually only costs 1 blue this time, so some of the cards are not going to be too dedicated on the blue. 5K combo piece and 15K on board. So, and by the way, guys, all these cards that we're going over have special traits saying Bardock's Crew and Error Bardock Sega. So that's just throwing it out there. So when this card attacks, you may draw 1 card. If you did not draw a card with this skill, this card gains double strike. So it's basically your little traditional Gohan, what was it? Adolescence, the one that attacks and draws a card.
Yeah, so we had the BCC Gohan, and that one was a double red, which was good. It was kind of pushing the whole mono red, red, blue kind of aggro.
It was great for its time.
It was great for its time. But then we moved into what I consider to be a better version, which was the Bardock that came out, and he was a single yellow and a starter exclusive.
Yes.
But it was really good. I mean, that's where we need to be. And if you look at Burnished Bonds Shugesh, he's a single blue. And I think that kind of commitment really feeds itself to color proliferation. You know, we want to see a lot of different colors, a lot of different themes, and a lot of different tech ads and things like that. So, boom, right out of the park with this card.
And right now, all these cards that we're going over, they could be great for draft.
Yep.
So just keep that in mind when you start drafting sets like this. You know, these are some of the cards you want to go after.
But yeah, any card that's giving you a lot of options and a lot of versatility as far as, you know, whether you're going to feed your hand or whether you're going to go for the game, I think those are really good tech ads for Bandai to add into sets as a whole. So keep doing things like that, Bandai. That's exactly what we want.
That's what we want now. The guy that we all been waiting for.
Oh, so spicy. Burnished Bonds Borgos. He's the 1-drop silver bullet. 5K combo piece, 4K on the board. When you play this card, draw a card. Immediately.
Love it.
Immediately it replaces
Getting value.
We're getting that value. But here we go. Here's the second thing. Auto, once per turn, during your opponent's turn, if your opponent switches their energy to active mode using a non-awakened skill, choose up to one of your opponent's energy and place it in its owner's work. You choose. They don't get to choose. And it goes right into the warp. Drop area.
And what's crazy about it is that this affects multiple effects that are not using the awakened skill. So we're talking about Golden Frieza. We're talking about Soul Striker. Soul Striker, guys.
Yep.
His ability is to untap energy. That means that you have a leader that can't do nothing. Golden Frieza's ability is to untap energy. So, you know, unfortunately, you know, those 2 leaders, they kind of just got shunned out, you know?
Hopefully we get an errata, because this would be an easy errata fix. All we have to do is just add in does not affect leader skills. That's it.
That's it. And then it'll be intended for the terrifying, dominant force of Storm.
No, here's the deal. We've been talking about this for a long time. I say we, as in other parts of the community.
Community members.
Unyielding Spirit Trunks is the problem. I don't care if you agree with me. It's just my opinion. I'm entitled to it. So are you. But I'm telling you right now, we hit 1 card. 1 card doesn't affect any other thematics. It shuts down all of this progress that the Storm has made. And it basically makes the deck more fair. Because, yes, swap will always be really good, but it's not unbeatable. But right now, the level of efficiency that Storm has, because of the fact that even when they're tapped out, they get to go zero, untap energy, extend my turn. That's a problem.
It is, you know, and, you know, I'm a little biased because I love my Storm, but yes, it is a problem, and Sensu Bean isn't the problem because everyone can use it, but Unyielding Bean just specifically for blue leaders, and, you know, it creates a hard it creates a way where it's hard for your opponent to live. You know, you extend your plays too much and aggressively. You know, because not only you're extending your plays, but you're also dealing damage while extending plays. It's not like you're just renewing energy. No, he's a 5 combo piece. You know, 5K combo piece. So that hurts feelings. But moving forward, we have Tulu the Seer, right? All right, so 2 drop, 2 blue. 0 combo, so 0 combo, this is a super combo we're going for, and 12k value if you ever play it. So moving forward, auto, when you combo with this card, if your leader card is a Bardock's Crew card and your life is at 5 or less, not 4, 5, draw 1 card and this card gains plus 10k combo power for the duration of the turn. Now, I'm going to say that I guess they haven't forgotten about the older cards.
Yep.
So they're kind of still, they're not making all the 10k cards that we have, all the super combos with 10k value. Actually, this last set, they made all of them for the most part with the 10k value.
Oh, yeah. The defensive stands or the ones that have the sparking. They were doing it both ways.
Yeah, so it was good. So either way, they had 10k regardless if they drew a card or not. So they're still going back to the traditional, and it's good to see it, but that means that there are going to be effects that disrupt these type of super combos, like Fu.
Yeah.
What's his name?
It started with
Shroud of Mystery.
Well, yeah. So all these type of combos here, the 0 at 5 life, they started in Tournament of Power, and they kept up in World Martial Arts. Those are also 0 at 5. I think that they might keep this model for theme boosters.
Okay.
Because of the fact that they just want to make sure that there are some specific cards for those themes, maybe. But to be honest, the new combos that came out of set 5, those are the staples.
Yeah.
If you're not playing with those cards, you got to reevaluate how you're playing. The Sparking 5 is super easy to hit. Most decks can hit that within the first turn or two. And you're always getting the 10k value out of it. So against fast aggressive decks that are trying to push a lot of crit, like Mass Saiyan is still a fast aggressive deck. He's missing a couple of pieces to tweak. But when you've got a leader that you can't Mafuba swinging across every single turn, who can crit you and crit you heavy, that can hurt. That can hurt a lot. So having a 0-10k, even if it doesn't draw you a card, that could be your saving grace. So all I'm saying is that while these are cool and they're a little kitschy and cute, at the same time, I think these are very antiquated. You know, they're just.
I agree.
They're just.
So
we've gotten into the 0-10, and I think we need to stay there.
Yep.
All right, so we appreciate that, but here's the thing I really appreciate, the thematic. So Tulo, if you don't remember, he attacks them, and he has this special attack, and when he hits Bardock, Bardock gets to see into the future, and that's when he knows that, oh, we got a phone call?
We got a phone call.
Phone call. My wife, hold on 1 second. We're going to keep this in the video. Hey, babe, I'm recording a video right now, and everyone's going to see me talking to you. Can I call you back later? Okay, I love you so much. All right, bye-bye. We're all about family down here in Texas. That's why I left that in there. It's part of the video. I planned it. It didn't catch me off guard. But anyways, back to what I was saying. So this next card encapsulates that. It's called Future Punch. Tell us about Future Punch.
All right, so Future Punch. It's an extra card. It costs 1, just 1 blue. Activate main, choose 1 Tulu the Seer in your drop area and place it at the bottom of your deck. So that's the super combo we just went over. Choose all of your blue Saiyan leaders. Choose all your blue Saiyan leader cards and blue Saiyan battle cards, and they gain 5k power and critical for the duration of the turn. At the end of the turn, choose all the Saiyan cards in your battle area and place them in the owner's drop areas. Wow.
Okay, let's unpack this for a second. So first off, they're saying take a super combo and put it back in your deck. That's number 1.
That's ridiculous.
That's the first thing, right? I mean, I think we can focus on that. Even if it is an antiquated card, you're still getting a super combo
back into the
deck. Okay, so go to the next thing here. Okay, leader cards, battle cards, they're all Saiyans, and they're blue Saiyans. Who is a blue Saiyan that can get critical? I mean, like, we're talking about, it's not even a blue Saiyan getting critical. Remember the Draft Box Goku? You take a life, you get double strike?
Yep.
This guy is a blue Saiyan, now he's got double strike and crit.
Oh, my Lord. That's going to be something. This card is probably going to be something where players can tinker with it and start breaking certain cards because now they gain critical and an additional 5k. You could start playing prefaces in your deck and start untapping your energy and just start, laying them on the board. They have barriers, so they're not going anywhere anytime soon. And now they get the nice 5k and crit.
Now I know a lot of people right now are going, yeah, but it only works with Tulu the Seer. I'm going to tell you right now, This card as a 2 of in certain decks, running 2 seers, getting a seer into your drop would not be a hard thing to do. And then being able to add this on top of a lot of blue sands. I'm not saying that people are going to run this with other blue sand decks and try to make things work like that. All I'm trying to say is that it opens up a lot of possibilities. This is definitely a Bardock Crew specific card, no question. In terms of competitiveness and the efficiency of how a deck has to be efficient for competitiveness, definitely Bardock's Crew specific, but still, there's a lot of things going on here with this card. That's insane. That's a lot of value.
That's a lot of value.
Especially the 5K. Just the 5K in itself. That's a ridiculous amount of value. All right, let's move over to this card. I feel like this card is also a lot of value. Tora's Red Armband. Here we go. This is a 4-cost extra card, 2 blue specific. If your leader card is Bardock's Crew, good job. Choose 1 blue Tora card in your drop. Send it to your war. Draw 4 cards. Choose up to 1 Final Strike Bardock in your battle area. Now remember, we pay 3 blue, we take the Tora, we go get the Final Strike, we put it on the board. So there should be a Tora in your drop, no question.
No question.
Okay, we take it, we switch it to active mode. It gets 10,000 power and double strike for the duration of the turn. And at the end of the turn, choose 1 of your energy and switch it to active mode. So we get to tap out, do whatever we want, draw 4 cards, attack again,
and stay safe.
And we're still in blue. So we still have Unyielding Spirit Trunks. We still have Senzu Beads. We still have all this energy recursion. This is a crazy
and draw 4, guys. So that means you could put pressure on your opponent. Like he said, use your unyieldings, use what you got to do. And then if you don't get punished, your hand size goes right back up. Imagine activating more than 1 in 1 turn. You might be able to activate more than 1 of these bad boys in 1 turn, depending on what kind of hand you have, especially if you have unyieldings. And if you're using objection won't hurt you because you're going to be drawing so much cards so quickly.
Wow. And so it's important to note that the 10k power and the double strike last for the duration of the turn. Effects that are lasting for the duration of the turn always tell me that at some point you're going to be able to do some really cool stuff. Like we got that Fascia, right? We did that Fascia earlier.
Just restand the Bardock.
And it still got the 10k and it still has the double strike. So we had multiple Fascia on the board and we played this and we're doing some other things. That's insane.
Your hand size is going to go off the skyrocket and you're going to put the craziest amount of pressure on your opponent. Now, we're going for Dream the Future. So this is another extra card. It costs 1 blue and it's a counter attack. So we got our own negate attack. It says negate an attack, and if your leader card is a Bardock's Crew card, you may choose 1 blue card in your hand and place it in the drop area. If you do, add this to your hand. So it's a reusable negate attack.
Oh my goodness.
That's really nice.
So they had a good idea when they did Time's Judgment. And that was a great card. It was a way for you to kind of make your drop a specific order, put specific things in there. It was a really good setup piece to what they did with Mira, Creator Absorbed, and a lot of other little cool things like that. They take that idea, they go, okay, let's give it to blue. They put it with the Bardock's Crew. This is how you make sure that your Tora and all these other little pieces that you need are in the drop. That's consistency. That's efficiency. I don't think we should sleep on this deck.
I think it's going to be strong.
That's insane.
For sure.
That's really good. All right, so we're moving into yellow. Now, I'm going to say right off the bat, Katani posted a video. He said he was a little disappointed in all this stuff. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a huge Piccolo fan. Yellow Namekians, this is where it's at. I know not everybody's going to agree with me, but I'm going to hype these cards up. So we're getting into yellow. We're going to talk a lot about these yellow Namekian cards. Let's get into it. So the first one, leader card, Dende. All right, permanent. This card can't attack. This kind of fits in with the whole wish motif. They want to give powerful effects, but they also want to make sure that they kind of keep some of the game balance. So I'm not concerned about that. Activate main, burst 2. I'm filling up my drop. I can go into switch this card to rest mode. I can choose up to 2 Dragon Ball cards from my deck or my life, add them to my hand, shuffle the area. So we're getting the draw power that Black Shinron gives us, but we're maintaining the yellow that we need in order to use some very yellow specific cards like Time Magic, which is an amazing card. That's for another video. Wish. When you got 7 Dragon Balls in the drop, flip it over, choose up to 1 Namekian card in your drop. So that means we can recur any Namekian card we need. We need some draw power, let's go get it.
You need a super combo, let's grab that.
We can do it all. And those super combo, the green one, I think that says green Namekian though, doesn't it? Doesn't the green super combo say green Namekian?
We gotta read that.
I'm gonna open up.
We won't double check on that.
let's see real quick. We got DBS, and I want to go to the official site real quick. Actually, you know what? I'm actually going to go to DBS decks. If you don't use DBS decks, you need to reevaluate what you're doing. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I think his name is Mark Hill. He did a really great job on creating this site. I use it all the time for all my deck building. When you create a deck there, you can actually export it to a printable PDF, which is really, really cool. And it saves you a lot of time, especially when you got a lot of people on your team and you're trying to print out deck lists for everybody. All right, so the super combo, 4 Namekians. When you combo with this card, if your leader card is a green Namekian. So, Bandai, you dropped the ball a little bit on that. Just a little bit. We got a super combo that's specific to Namekians, but now it's got that added thing of green. That kind of hurts a lot of deck proliferation when you get into these other decks. No bueno. No bueno. All right, so I'm with Katani on that. They dropped the ball on that one. All right, so we're not going to be able to use that, but we got a lot of combos, and we've got the new 0-10Ks, which, again, I think are the better way to go anyway. So we flip to the other side. We got the 7 balls. We go. We get any Namekian back, so we can't get that specific card, but we're going to get some other good stuff. There's a lot of good things to get with the Namekians. We've got the 2-drop that came out of the World Martial Arts, which is the 2-drop 15K crit, Piccolo Speed. We've also got Nailed, the Namekian Ace, which I think is the card you're actually going to go in there and get. And we're going to talk about the 0-cost Searcher here in a second, which also hits everything that's 2 and less, and that'll be really good for us too. Activate main once per turn on the backside. We can draw a card. We can choose a Yellow Desire card with an energy cost less than or equal to our current energy and activate its main skill, so basically play Yellow Desires for free. And then if we remove 7 Dragon Balls from the drop, we can choose all of our yellow Namekian leader cards and our yellow Namekian battle cards. They'll get 10K for the duration of the turn, and then you can flip this card over at the end of the turn. So, a little underpowered compared to the triple attack of the Black Shinron, compared to some of the other effects of the other leader cards once they flip to the back. And we're talking about just general effects of other leader cards. Like, for example, and this is just off the top of my head, the Gogeta one that says your opponent can't activate counters anymore. Like, that's pretty powerful. And you're thinking, hey, I took all the time to get 7 Dragon Balls in here. I removed them. Yes, my leader gets 10K, my board gets 10K, but that's it.
That's it. Even though one thing I do kind of like is, for one, on the front side you couldn't attack. This back side you can attack.
Yeah.
So it's a little different. At least it's not like Shenron where you can't attack both sides. Now moving forward, 10K to all your yellow Namekian leader and yellow Namekian battle cards. How many battle cards are we talking? If you establish a board, maybe there's a way to get on multiple on the field quickly. If you can do that, you can make a huge push.
The only thing that upsets me is that we've got a 3-drop 15K barrier blocker that gives 5K and double strike to all cards. And the best we could do with 7 Dragon Balls is just 10K. I'm just throwing it out there. And they made it Namekian specific. I'm just throwing it out there. Could we have done more? I think we could have. So I'm with Peter on that card.
Yeah.
Little disappointed in that one. Sun Gohan. So what do we got here?
All right. So we have a Sun Gohan, 10K, 5K combo piece. The vanilla. Great art. But I don't know. We'll see we'll see what these vanilla cards actually do in the future.
I did like the fact that they added in the Overrealm card, the Trunks, that allows you to go in, grab a vanilla, give it
I
crit.
like that.
That was a little bit of aggression for black and just being able to do some really tricky things. But at the same time, it's like, if we're not going to be focusing on Overrealm mechanics anymore, then what are we really doing with all these vanillas?
Maybe they're just kind of setting us up for some kind of discovery to start creating decks that they're not going to work on anymore, but it's like a little like, hey, we're doing these things subtly. Let's see if you figure it out.
Do you remember the Magetta that they introduced in the Tournament of Power?
Oh, of course.
And they gave 10K, I think, to all your 1-drop?
Yep. All
So,
your 1-drop.
they're not-
And it's still right now not, it's just gaining value. That one little card is there. It exists.
Eventually
it will be played.
Maybe. They'll be like, that'll be your game ender. I've got 6 1-drops that I just spanned on the board, untap some energy because I awaken, untap a little more energy, boom, throw the Magetta down. Everything's got plus 10,000.
Yeah, imagine all your weenies having like critical double strike or
All
whatever.
because they're vanilla. It's like some field effects. That's what we really need. We need more field cards that can actually affect these skillless cards.
I agree.
That would be really good. So, Krillin, Ability Unleash. He's a 2-drop, 1 yellow specific, 0 5K combo piece. 10K power on the board. When you play this card, you can choose 2 non-black battle cards in your opponent's drop area, place them at the bottom of the deck in any order, and if you do, draw a card. Now this kind of goes into what we were talking about as far as setting up your drop so you can get specific pieces off, specific combos.
Yeah.
This guy says, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, he'll disrupt what your opponent's trying to do. And not only that, but, you know, as this game is progressing, there's certain things. Like right now, the Bardock's crew. I'm like, you know what? Nah, you're setting up for Bardock. Put that to the bottom real quick. We ain't gonna let you go crazy on me and get a free Bardock out on board and all that now.
He's the Shenron killer.
Yeah. Oh, well, he is a Shenron killer, but he can only target 2 non-black battle cards.
It's a non-black battle card?
Non-black.
Specific?
Yeah.
Okay, well, all right.
He couldn't touch those Dragon Balls.
That's
And plus they're battle cards anyway, so it's restricted.
It's another missed opportunity. He's holding a Dragon Ball in the picture.
Yeah, it would be.
No, it's still a Shenron killer. Because look, everything you're doing in Shenron, you're setting up your drop for specific drops. You grab those battle cards like the Deborah and all that kind of stuff, and you put it back in their deck. So
you just keep looping it, which is actually good. He could target that. The only thing is that, I mean, normally when your opponent sets up for desire play, they already set it up in the fashion where they do it the same turn. So like a lot of players that are now getting good at this, they're doing things where they'll just set up quickly, like the 1-star, I think it was the 2-star ball, pitch a card, whatever.
Oh, that's the 1-star, yeah.
Yeah, that's the 1-star.
Yeah.
Pitch a card, draw a card, or technically draw a card, pitch a card, and then they'll hit the desire for free, and they already pitched the card that they wanted to bring out on the board. So Krillin's a little late, but now we have another card. Let's talk about this. Piccolo's Potentials Unleashed. He's a 2-drop, 2 yellow. So he's heavy, but let's see. He's a 5K combo piece and 15K. He has Union Absorb. So now we're going back into that mechanic. 2 yellow, 1 generic. Choose 1 nail card from your hand or drop area and place it under this card. If your leader card is a Shenron card and your opponent has 3 or more cards in rest mode, choose up to 1 Namekian card with an energy cost of 4 from your deck or drop area and play it on top of this card in active mode. Then shuffle your deck if you look through it. So one thing is good is that you can get value off the Piccolo by attacking. You can attack him or maybe use any kind of effect that may be in the future where you can put him in rest mode, do what you got to do, then place that other Union Absorb card right over him. Now, what's really cool is that you have versatility. It's a Union Absorb not just from the deck, but it says from your hand or drop area. So it's not from deck, actually. It's just hand or drop area. And, you know, it has some specifics. Your leader card has to be a Shenron. But that means any Shenron, by the way. That doesn't mean any specifics.
Yep.
And then, you know, you go through the process of choosing the card and getting your effects off, which I like.
So hopefully the SR is a 4-drop, and it's something really, really powerful. Because if they had just said Namekian, we'd be pulling in that.
Oh, we'd be pulling some crazy stuff.
Pop once per turn.
Pop once per turn, just chilling.
Kami's, I think he's Kami's successor. Is
Yeah.
that the one, Kami's successor?
Yeah.
Man, that card's amazing. All right, so we're going into Namekian Solidarity Piccolo. He's a 2-drop, 2-1 yellow, 0 cost 5K combo, 10K power on the board. Auto. When you play this card, draw a card. Then choose up to 1 Namekian card in your battle area and up to 3 Namekian cards in your drop and place those chosen cards from your drop underneath the chosen card in your battle area. Now, when they did the World Martial Arts Tournament, they created that one, I can't remember what the name of it was, but every time you put a card underneath it, got 5,000 power.
I know what you're talking about.
It was one of the Bobbity crew guys.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't remember. It's the one that Goku shoots in.
Yeah,
like,
he's the one that absorbs energy.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, are we going to get an interesting effect like that? That'd be pretty
nice.
Neat. It's all Namekian based though. And the only Namekian I know right now that's getting something for a card underneath him actually has to activate his ability. That's the one that says, it's actually right here.
He's the green one.
He's the green one.
Yeah.
It's this guy, right? Is it this, it's Purina.
Yeah.
Put a card in there, 10,000 power, get some crit, draw a card. That's pretty powerful.
It is.
Pretty good. So hopefully we get something really nice. That card, 2 cost 10K, you know, I think that's pretty basic for 2 cost cards. They're right around 10,000 power most of the time.
10 to 15, anywhere around that. But now we're going into the Ancient Wisdom Guru. So you guys already know. Now we have a Namekian super combo. So
this one's yellow specific.
Yeah, so they didn't drop the ball completely. It's just that it would be nice to be able to switch and kind of like just match things. So if you had green, you can combine like a green yellow Namekian deck with using a green super combo. But hey, you know, it's not like that. But moving forward, so one, he has 0 combo power, so they're kind of sticking with the old traditional stuff.
Yeah.
He's a three cost card, so he's a little more expensive because a lot of the super combos are too.
That's true.
And so yeah, I noticed it's a little different, but hey, it is what it is. Now moving forward, it's he's 15k value, guys. So he costs one more, but he's a 15k value. When you combo with this card, if your leader card is a yellow Namekian card and your life is at 5 or less, draw one card, and then this card gains 10,000 power, combo power for the duration of the turn. So it's just standard.
Old school, 0 cost unless you're at a specific thing. And that's fine. That's fine. I'm glad they added at least a card that you needed in order to get it out on the board. But it being 3 cost means that you won't be able to use the Black Shinron, because the Black Shinron targets 2 cost cards. And you can put it on the free. Which right now, there's a lot of people doing some spicy plays when they bring out their super combo and they swing in and they combo it into from the battle.
I do it with androids, guys.
Yeah. So, but I think it's important to note that they did that. I mean, that's a little weird. I wonder what they saw in testing that made them go, you know what? I think we should
Let's make them a 3 drop.
All right, so we talked earlier about a 4-cost Namekian coming into play. Here's a 4-cost Namekian. Life or Death Nail. Here we
Art
go.
is crazy.
And it looks really nice. Yeah, he's very, very good. I think we need to see more about this whole warrior Namekian thing, what that they were talking about, the super Namekian.
Oh, that would be nice.
I would like to see more about that. So 4 cost, 2 on yellow, 0 cost 5k combo, which I think is super important. And you know, I'm glad to see that we're getting into a more 0 cost 5k combo. I know in the early days we had some 4 cost cards that were 1 drop.
Yeah, a lot of cards. What happened was back then they made a lot of cards with that 10k 1 cost, and it made decks clunky, which meant that they had like a design purpose where they didn't want you to run too many of these cards in one deck. So by doing so, they just they made it so that they maximize the cost of trying to play them. And I believe that it was just a way just to enhance, you know, just gameplay. You want to make sure that the gameplay is fair. And if you want to use these 10 costs, you know, it's going to come at a cost, literally.
So this is a really nice one. So he's a 20k power on the board. As we said, 0 cost 5k combo. He's got Evolve, 2 of any color.
That's good. 2 generic. I'm liking that.
On top of a nail, and it's in the alligator bracket, so we know for a fact that it's
use that green nail, the one that attacks and draws a card and gains plus 5k.
Now, permanent. If there are 2 or more Namekian cards under this card gains barrier and double strike. So we're getting a little bit of value with the choose a Namekian, take 3 Namekians, put it underneath a specific Namekian that you just chose.
Nice.
So a little bit of value in that interaction. Auto, Sparking 5. When you play this card, you can choose 1 card from your life, add it to your hand, so we're getting a little bit of card draw. If you do, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle card, ignoring barrier, and switch it to rest mode. How important is that?
That's pretty important. I like the interactions that they have now with canceling out a lot of barrier cards, because one thing is, you know, Bandai, you made barrier, and I love it. I actually love the mechanic, but it's sometimes a little hard to deal with. And so now you guys are making more cards that kind of go right through barrier, and it can solve the problems of, hey, my opponent, let's say I'm playing against androids, and they got the 17 that he's barrier and he's a 4-drop. It's like, all right, cool. Well, you have that barrier guy on board. You know what? Let's put him to rest real quick, and we're gonna do what we got to do.
Yeah. You know? So, and we talked about the fact that he has the Evolve for 2, and we said it can go on any nail, and that takes us right into this 1 drop, and it's called Nail Pride of Namek.
Yeah, and so he's a 1 cost, 1 yellow specific. He's 5k combo and 4k on board. So auto, burst 2. At the end of a battle in which you combo this with this card from your hand, if your leader card is a Namekian card, play this card in rest mode. Nice. So we're moving back to the Freehan era where we used to, you know, drop our Freehans or drop our Vegetas or whatnot. And what's really cool is that he's a little different since he's free. He's a free guy. So you literally can combo him, get 5k on value, and he comes into play. Now active.
Well, and also he's any Namekian. So green or yellow.
Which is great. It's really good. And you know, but it's after the end of the battle. So, you know, it doesn't happen right away. It's not like a cut into interaction. It's still combo. Your opponent decides to combo or whatever, and then afterwards we get to his effect, which is burst 2. So you got to lose 2 cards from the top of the deck.
So he's on the board. What do we do then?
Now, active main. Choose 1 other Namekian card in your battle area. place this card under the chosen battle card, and that card gains 5k power for the duration of the turn. So he works very well with these cards that have a certain requirement in having cards underneath. And not only that, but he comes out for free, so it's a free way of getting value and a free pump at that. So it's really nice. I do like what they're doing with this.
I'm going to say...
And he's a nail.
And he's a nail. And he's a nail, right? My brain just keeps going back to Shinron Bills. It's a triple attack. I think I'm sick. All right, number 1 drop, Namekian, Wishmaker Dende, battle card, 0 cost 5k combo, 1000 power on the board. Auto, when you play this card, choose up to 1 Dragon Ball from your deck, add it to your hand, and then shuffle the deck. So he's got the sorbet.
He's a sorbet.
He's a sorbet Dragon Ball Seeker guy. So he's getting the Dragon Ball. He's putting it into your hand. That's really good. I like that. The activate main, when he's on the board, activate main. Choose 1 other Namekian card in your battle area. Take this card, place it underneath the chosen battle card, and that card will get 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. So we've got 2 cards that once they're on the board, we're getting even more value into a Namekian that might be swinging for game.
Yeah, that's true. Or pressure, because in the game, you want to make sure that you're getting as much value as you can. And not only that, but it's about progressing your game state. So searching your Dragon Balls for these Shenron leaders is a must. You need to be able to awaken ASAP, especially with Tyrants in the format. Again, we have Storm still relevant, and even when these cards come out, Storm is still going to be a tough one. Don't sleep on it, but at least Bandai's saying, hey, you know what, we see this as a problem, we're going to make a lot of support to counter this problem. And moving forward, we have now Cargo Namekian Youth. He's a 1-drop, 1 yellow, 5k combo piece, and just 1k on board, so he's a little guy. Auto, when you play this card, draw 1 card, then choose up to 1 of your opponent's skill list battle cards in rest mode and KO it. So, skill list. This works for, again, that Trunks that came out, the Trunks that he referred to before, comes out, plays a little generic guy, swings out, and he can just pop it if they attack. And let's not forget about the Frieza, that he's actually one of the promos from this last set. He's from the tournament pack. His effect is that he can put a guy into rest mode, and then when he KOs a battle card, he can search his deck up for 3 or less, I believe, skill. Captain Ginyu. He could pop a Captain Ginyu. So these 30k vanilla beat sticks, they're already kind of making repercussions just in case they get out of hand, which that only means that I feel that those decks are going to be getting really strong soon. So expect that as a good counter for them.
So here's the question. Your opponent does a free Han or something like that, and they're playing that card, that opens up a window for Cold Bloodlust, does it not?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so if that card is skillless, does this pop that card?
Of course it does. It won't have an effect.
Ooh, I mean, that's a very, very specific, ultra specific interaction, but still pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the next card. This card, I like this card. This is really thematic. And it's kind of thematic, too, with the sense that it fits in with Namekian specifically. So we're talking about Twin Revival. So Twin Revival is a 3-cost, 3 on yellow. So they wanted this to be very hard to mix into another deck. Permanent. This card gains desire in all areas. Activate main. If your leader card is a yellow Shinron card, choose up to 2 yellow Namekian cards with energy cost 2 or less in your drop and play them. So putting out... So like that nail is a bond 2. So taking 2 nails, putting them out, giving each other the bond 2 activation so they can swing in and start attacking and drawing cards. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. But it says, choose up to 2 yellow.
Oh my God.
Yellow.
Why are you hurting me so badly? Bandai. These are green Namekian cards. You couldn't just say 2 Namekians. Was it just that broken? Was the testing? Was it like every time? Oh my God, he's drawing cards. The 5Ks and draws. Man. Well, that'd still be pretty good for a lot of these guys.
Look at
what I just did, the Wishmaker Dende, right?
Yeah.
So you play that card, you bring in, you go get the last 2 Dragon Balls that you need. A little faster awakening because these guys come in, they get the Dragon Balls, and then you can take those, put them under somebody, get a little more pressure.
Get some more value out of it.
That's not too bad. But still, you're killing us with this whole dichotomy of you're yellow and I'm green. Can the segregation end? Can it end, Bandai? Come on now. All right, so 2 yellow Namekians. I'm never going to forget that.
Oh, man. All right. So we have Assimilate. Now, this is a key card because this one is really nice. So it costs 0, 0. And finally, Bandai said, you know what? We're going to give you guys a little break. Activate main. Choose up to 1 green or yellow. Just like what he was saying, give green a chance and use it. So, green or yellow Namekian card with an energy cost of 2 or less from your deck and add it to your hand. So this means you can add those nails, you can add some super combos. That's why they made it a 3.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Oh, but wait a second, hold on. We can run this in green Namekian builds.
Oh,
and
yes,
go
we
get
can.
the green super combo.
Yes, we
so
can.
this can search out. This is a 0 cost search out of super combo.
Yeah, guess what?
That's not too bad.
And it's not. It's not at all. So it's pretty good because now other decks can use it. And it costs 0 for a reason. Because, yellow isn't, the green decks that we had before weren't really playing yellow. But, a lot of decks are playing yellow to stay competitive with all this bad ring laser action going on.
We talk a lot about efficiencies of decks, and the thing about Storm that's really good is it has Successor of Hope. Successor of Hope says, go in there, get that Bardock you need. It makes the deck more efficient and perform more consistently, getting you into top. This kind of card, Assimilate, is really good for a green Namekian leader because of the fact that it's going to make you more consistent. Because you'll be able to go in and get pieces that you need. Like, for example, you go get the 1 cost nail, so that way on turn 2, you can evolve it into the 4 cost nail.
Absolutely.
So if a deck becomes efficient enough, it becomes more tournament viable.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Don't sleep on Namekians. I'm making Namekians. I'm with Namekians. Piccolo, your Gohan's father. I love you so much. Oh, okay. This card was my idea. Bandai, you listen to me. This was my idea. It was supposed to be counter play, not counter attack. But I will take what I can get. 1 drop, 1 yellow on, solar flare, counter attack, negate the attack, and if your leader card is yellow, choose up to 1 of your yellow battle cards with an energy cost of 2 or less, and it gains blocker for the duration of the turn. Where's the value in this card?
Well, for one, it has a lot of value because you have all these little weenie Namekians. You play them out. You can use that card we spoke about previously. Grab both of them, play them out on the board, get your draw power going on. And not only that, but now your negates hold some value because now you have a negate that also turns into another blocker on board. So that's great. That's actually something where 1 card gives you 2 outs. I stop your first attack and now I block your next attack. And that could be something your opponent may not be ready for. It's not a Nimbus. It's not a Nimbus, but it's very interesting in how it interacts. And in some values, it may be better than Nimbus. You know why? Because you might have a situation where you negate 1 attack, your opponent's about to drop something that says it cannot be negated, and you're like, cool, I got a blocker now. We good. We're in there.
It's really good. I mean, there's always gonna be these cards. We got the Super 17 can't be negated. You got other cards that can't be negated like Victory Strike, and you need to be able to do specific things. And this says you have an answer for Victory Strike, because what you're gonna do is Victory Strike's gonna swing across. You're gonna activate this. It's not gonna negate the attack. But now you move from the counter window into the blocker, right, with the resolve autos, and now your guy's got blocker. He can tap and he can block the Victory Strike, and now you don't get eaten by Victory Strike.
Yeah, look at that, and right there. So you see that they're gonna go in for that Victory Strike, and they try to attack you to be slick. You're like, negate, give my little guy blocker, and then they're looking at you like, oh, shit.
That's pretty good. That's all I'm saying. Now look, most of the time, they're going to be swinging in with a bad ring. So if you're going to win the bad ring war, then this kind of thing can be another out for you. Victory Strike is still something that's very.
Oh, of course,
we're not saying it isn't, but at the end of the day, the more options I have, the better I feel.
Yeah.
All right, moving into black. It's Dragon Ball.
All right. So we have permanent. This card can't attack.
So we know that this is the Purunga one.
Okay, so this is Purunga. Alright, so activate main. Switch this card to rest mode. Choose up to 2 of your Dragon Ball cards from your deck or life and add them to your hand. So similar to the other one, the Shenron that we have now, we have the Purunga version. So now, again, when you have all 7, bam, you go, choose 1 desire card in your drop area and add it to your hand. Moving forward, we have the standard. This card can't attack, so it's like Shenron, just like Shenron. Activate main once per turn. Choose 1 Draw one card, standard. Choose one desired card in your hand with energy cost less or equal to the current energy and activate its cost for free.
Hidden all colors.
Yep, hidden all colors, which is good, standard. And now this is where things get spiced up. Remove all 7 cards from your drop area from the game. If you do choose one battle card with an energy cost less than or equal to your current energy from your drop area and play it, then flip this card over at the end of the turn. Now, first look on this, it doesn't look that appealing, it doesn't look that strong, because you're like, oh, okay, I can grab one battle card from my drop zone and I can put it in play. Whoop-de-doo. Alright, so now you got to think of different plays you can do. For one, you can get cards back like Victory Strike. Alright? Just remember, if you meet the requirements in energy, Victory Strike can come right on the board
8 energy.
and just win that game. So if you're running a deck that ramps, like most decks are running 4 objection and all that, that's a good thing. And you have the Dragon Balls to mitigate the minus aspect from it. Now, moving forward, you have a lot of different battle cards that he can drop. He can bring any battle card from the drop zone. It's any. It doesn't have any specific requirement. So this...
Well, it does have the same requirement that
then equal,
World Peace.
Oh, well, yeah. World,
so less,
yeah.
less than or equal to your current energy cost. Yeah. But it still fits in with what Anthony's saying. It's really not that appealing. Because of the fact that we already have a desire card that does what this ultimate does.
Yeah, and this is an ultimate, by the way. So it's like, this is your final move before you turn back into a little Dragon Ball. And, you know, it's not good when you turn into those little Dragon Balls.
No, 10K is terrible.
Yeah,
always feels
you have
bad.
a vanilla leader that can't do nothing.
Always feels bad.
Always feels
so
bad.
But I'm going to tell you like this. Bandai, you missed an opportunity here. In the canon, they even say that the Namekian Dragon Balls are just more powerful.
Yeah.
So if Shinron's given us triple attack, which is arguably the most powerful ultimate.
Actually, they could have swapped it because he gives 3 wishes, the other one gives 1 wish. Triple attack.
Oh my God!
They could have
something. Missed opportunities, Bandai. It's insane. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, like, so here's the deal. If this had just said, bring any battle card to the field, that would have been different. Because you know what we could have done? We could have pitched Demikra into the drop. It's 10 cost. Bring Demikra out. We could have pitched Whis into the drop. 12 cost. We just bring it out.
But it's the same with Victory Strike. You can bring out Victory Strike potentially as early.
Well, I'm just saying, but like if we didn't have the energy cost, the requirement, we could have brought anything.
We could have brought anything.
We could have done a whole bunch of things that we feel would have been this way or that way. Some people are in the Victory Strike boat, but there's outs to it. And depending upon the deck, you can build a lot of toolbox versions where you know for a fact that this particular boss monster is going to be better than that one. But it would still require you to draw that one card, still require you to do so. It's more fair. It's still fair. But man, this ultimate is very lackluster.
It's lackluster, but now can you imagine if you actually use well, let's say you did bring back. What if you did use the extra card and you brought back a threat and then you used it as a fact and brought another threat out? I mean, you could bring multiple threats out, which might be pretty game warping there.
Well, the deal is that, and this is the problem that I have.
And I don't mean what, like you pay for one and then you.
No, I know. Yeah, you pay for one and then you use his ability. So, like, like this right here. If it was just, and this is what I said about the old Shinron when it first came out. If the 7 Dragon Ball was separated from the activate main, like make it a separate ability.
That's what they could have done with this one.
That one would have been amazing.
So you would have 2 abilities.
Yeah,
you would have been able to do one and then the other.
Yeah.
You know, so it would have been like, all right, use this for free, now bring a guy back.
Look, when we look at, so for example, you look at Cell, right? He's got 2 activate mains. One that lets you draw 2 cards and another one that says pop anything on the board.
Yeah.
That's super powerful. You go back to this thing, I got to search these Dragon Balls out. I got to get them into the drop. I'm working hard for this. My leader can't attack. He can't do anything unless it's just activate one of these little skills. And you're telling me the best we can do is to copy a 4-cost desire card that already exists in the game? That's the best we can do? We're dropping balls, man.
Literally.
Dragon Balls. Come on. All right, we're going to go to this next black card. What is this card?
All right, so we have No Escape Son Goku, which this one is a very interesting one. He's a 1-drop, doesn't have any specific cost because he's a black card, and he's a 5K combo piece with 3K on board. Deflect, so as soon as he comes in play, he can't be countered. When you play this card, draw 1 card, and players can't use non-key skills to return battle cards in the battle area to their owner's hand during their turn for the rest of the duration of the game. So he has a Chronoa effect, you know, where she comes out, No more Shugesh for the rest of the game. Now, what's interesting about this card is, remember that little Gotenks that they just made this set that is like gimmicky? It's like, haha, I come out, return 100 battle cards to your hand. You can't do it anymore. He stops that. So anything that's not swap, because I know when this got released, some people were like, oh my god, they killed swap. No, this says non-keywords. That's why we got to make sure we get the clarifications right.
Yeah.
But it's still very strong. And there's quite a bit of cards that say return, that because it says players can't use non-keyword skills to return battle cards in the battle area to their hands, to their own hands. So it's their own hands during their turn. So flute, for example, you can't flute
That's
your own
an
stuff.
activate main, that's non-keyword.
Yeah, so you want to flute your guys back? Nope. You want to do any effects that return guys back? It's a no, which is pretty strong depending on where the route of this game is going to take.
It's going to hit that blue Goten, it's going to hit the Pan, the Awakening Talent.
Yeah.
It's going to hit quite a few cards, and it may hit cards that we haven't seen.
Yeah, and you just named Awakening Talent. Talent says, hey, I attack you, and I'm going to help you awaken, and then I get to scapegoat out of there and go back to your hand. And it's like, yeah, you attack, you get a card, but you ain't going back.
And I think it's really interesting to note that this is a 1-cost black with 3k power. So that means that the Toki Toki Toolbox deck is slowly building itself.
It is, and there's a lot of things. We already have, right now we have Kami, we have Dende, we have this Goku, we have the Mass Saiyan.
Well, Mass Saiyan is a 5k
Well, he's
power.
a 5k,
We
yeah.
can't hit him.
You're right. But
we have Cronoa. She's a 1-cost.
we have Cronoa,
which is
yeah.
the original. I think the original attempt was Toki Toki to Cronoa, and then everything else just kind of, as they started answering these silver bullets, unquote.
Literally, that is it. It would be Toki Toki is going to end up becoming a cyborg card. If it's not already. It's going to become a cyborg card because it's going to say, hey, you search your deck for whatever toolbox card. You need Kami? I got you, man. Toki Toki, Kami. Which, guys, that's another cyborg option. Just giving you some tips on that. But moving forward.
Oh my god, I'm so disappointed in this card. I understand what Katani said, but listen, when you put out a new Dragon Ball, can we get a new effect?
I agree.
0 cost, black card, Purunga's Dragon Ball. Again, in canon, more powerful than the Earth Dragon Balls. What does it do? I'll tell you. If your leader card is Shinron, draw 1 card, which is exactly the same thing that the Dragon Balls do now.
I don't know why they did that, but all I can say is they're probably coming out with a starter deck that's just going to have this version of it instead.
And it might be that, and then Katani said, and this is why I said I understand what Katani said. Katani said, look, they're still thinking about drafts, they're still thinking about that, so they got to make sure that the set has Dragon Balls in it.
No, and it's true. It is important for, like I said, I mentioned drafts earlier. You know, this set is going to be very good for draft. And that's the important thing.
Now, this next card, there's a lot of contention in the community about this card. Some people were like, oh, I'm quitting the game over this card.
Actually, I don't even like this card myself.
So talk about it.
All right, so Wish to Purunga. All right, so we have a 3-cost, any color, right? It's permanent. This card gains desire in all areas, so typical. Activate main. If your leader card is a black Shenron card, which means the one that we just went over, and of course the previous Shenron, choose one of your and your opponent's battle cards with an equal energy cost, ignoring barrier. Okay? Ignoring barrier. Choose all other battle cards you control, all other battle cards your opponent controls, ignoring barrier, and your opponent's hands, then shuffle them into their owner's decks. Then you and your opponent draw 5 cards. So now, we all know about Chain Attack Zeno. Everyone spoke about that. It was a degenerate combo at the time when people were like, oh my god, you could Chain Attack into Zeno. That's really powerful. And that was a four-turn combo. It was on your 4th turn you could do it, but you had to tap out in most scenarios other than SS3. Problem is that we move forward, Bandai creates intensifying power trunks. It's a 1-drop. And it says, you know what, instead of doing it on 1, we can do it on 2. Now, you have a card that can do it on 2, theoretically, just based on how it could work. And you don't need any pieces. You don't need Chain Attack into Zeno. You don't need Intensifying Trunks. You needed 3 cards to do that on turn 2. Now, you need 1 card to do it on turn 2.
Well, remember this too, and this is the thing that people are trying to defend the card with. It says, if your leader card is black, so there's a condition there, choose one of yours and choose one of your opponents. So you got to have one, and your opponent's got to have one. But come on, guys. Are you going to tell me that if I'm playing Black Shinron, my opponent's going to go, I'm never putting a battle card on the board? No, they're going to eventually put something on the board, and being able.
And that's even worse. All right, okay. Let's go with that. Let's go with that. I'm not playing nothing. I bet I'm gonna play everything I'm playing. I'm gonna attack you. I'm gonna do everything. You ain't playing nothing, right, man? You sure? You sure about this? I mean, the moment you play something, I'll show it. I even show you the card in my hand just to let you know I'm gonna do it. So how you want to play this game? Like, that's silly.
And it's equal energy cost. They didn't even try to say equal power, which would have been a lot harder.
That would have been nice. That would have been spicy. I would have been like, yo, all right, it's way easier to cast than Chain Attack Xeno, but there's a catch. Yeah. You got to match my power, bro.
Yeah, that'd be way different. They just said energy cost, and it's like, come on, guys. Look, here's the deal. We want this game to be about skill. And what you did, Bandai, is you said, well, we'd also like there to be a little random chance. And random chance can really kill a competitive scene.
It can.
It can. And it's just, we don't, there's a lot of ways that we want to be like Magic, for sure. Magic has a great pro scene. They're making money every year. I mean, like the bottom 30% of those guys make like $30,000 a year. I'd love to get to a point where guys can quit their, their 9 to 5 at McDonald's and just play
focus
cards.
On their hobby.
Yeah, and they could do that, and they would make the same amount of money that they were actually making more money.
They'll be making more money and happier.
That'd be great. But it's hard to get there when we have cards like this. This kind of card basically says, I don't want you to have to be the best player in order to win a big competition. I want to leave it up to 5 cards.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? Let's just reshuffle our hands. And by the way, you choose as the owner of this card. So, you could choose one of your main finishers. You could already be setting up your opponent for game. And you're like, all right, I'm going to save this bad boy because we're about to scoop you up. Yep. And we're going to pick that little generic, whatever you got on the board, maybe something that drew you a card. And then now we're going to reshuffle everything and continue about our way. And that's really crazy because you can use it for free. So not only you can do this on turn 2, or technically, let's go past 3. Once you're already awakened and you have your dragon, you can use your desire cards for free with your leader. But it's ridiculous. A free Chain Attack Xeno in all-in-one card. Yeah. It's not appealing, Bandai. And I'm going to be honest, from my perspective, and I'm pretty sure from the community, I would do my due diligence to errata it right away. Yeah. I would deal with this card before even the set is released.
This card is a droid killer. I mean, let me just kind of set this up. This kills androids for a lot of reasons. Right now, in the current meta, we're putting out on turn 3 for 2 costs a Deadly Defender. So that puts a 3 cost on the board. Yeah, that's strong. So on the next turn over to me, I put a 3 cost out, I activate Shinron's ability to activate this ability, and then I get rid of all your other blockers, I get rid of your hand, I reset you completely. You've basically been doing your setup and trying to
You cell chain me, you tapped out, and I'm like, I bet you cell chain me, cool. Yeah. Let's restart the game. Oh wait, your Deadly Defender that you thought you had to defend something? Nah, man.
Yeah, it's a little difficult to defend this card. That card is way strong.
And it's a battle card. I mean, it's an extra card. Yeah. Guess what, Bandai? We don't have any extra card interactions. There is no cold bloodless for extra cards unless you're gonna surprise us. And even if you do, it just becomes do you have the answer? We're about to get this game. We're about to leave this game up for chance. You got the answer for it? Nope. I'll scoop everything up.
All right, so that's the last card that we have to preview. Again, there's a lot of hits and there's a lot of misses. Bardock's Crew, I think that's going to be really fun.
That was a major hit. Yeah, you guys did a great job with that theme.
But we kind of dropped the ball on the Namekians. We've got some good pieces, and I even told Katani this, I'm going to create a deck list, yellow-green. It's going to have a lot of the key yellow pieces like Battering Laser and Nimbus, things that actually make playing yellow really worth it. But at the same time, it's going to have a lot of good energy pieces for green Namekians like Purina, being able to get in there with 10k draw card crit, put in some double strikes. The deck kind of builds itself. There's a lot of good things going on there, but at the same time, this yellow and green distinction thing, that really hurts the whole Namekian.
And I know, you guys may want to make sure that the game is balanced, but it's weird because you guys do things that are right spot on where we can tell you want to make it balanced, but then at the same time you release cards that are just way too powerful, and it's just counterproductive. Like making a wish to Purunga, counterproductive on keeping the game balanced. And then it's not even exclusive to just let's say this card was just exclusive to the yellow. Let's say it was just for yellow Namekians. Yeah. Cool. They get their own card that's really strong but it's exclusive to one archetype. One, just one. And I would be fine with that. I would be like, you know what? Dang, the Mexicans are kind of weak right now, but yo, they got that wish to Perunga.
So they set the board. And you look, so right now, Chain Attack Zeno, you can throw it into any deck. There's no specifics on it. You give them something like this that comes out a lot faster. It's not combo dependent. It's more board state dependent, which is a lot easier to manage, maintain, manipulate. That's really good if it's specific. But we could get a lot of cards coming in as long as they were specific. It wouldn't be you'd be able to control that power creep, and I think that's really important for the health of the game. So Bandai, if you're listening, if you're watching it, if you know somebody from Bandai, you can get in their ear about it. Specifics, character specifics, a yellow card specific. You know, the time magic. That's a great card.
Great.
Specific to yellow.
Specific.
Exactly. Get in there with the specifics. Now, you've watched us talk about these cards. You like some of the things that we're saying. Maybe you don't. But if you do, you're probably wondering, okay, why haven't I seen Anthony Hernandez around? Why hasn't he been posting in our group? Why hasn't he been an active part of the community? Maybe he just came into the game a few months ago, but there was a situation, and I want Anthony to talk about it a little bit, just so we can kind of reintroduce it and dissect it a little bit, kind of break it down a little bit. Anthony, in your own words, what happened that prevented you from being a part of this community?
All right, so moving to that, I want to just start off by saying that when I started playing the game, I enjoyed its competitive edge in the sense that I wanted to like build something for it. I was like, I just came back from Naruto. That was like one of my main games, and it was thriving when it was alive. And when it died, I kind of like, I felt, not to sound cheesy, but it was something that I really enjoyed doing. So when Dragon Ball came out, I thought there was a perfect opportunity to like get more people involved. So I decided to do something like the WWE, something that wrestlers do, and it just builds some fun for the audience. So I decided that I was going to play this character. Now this character is still me. It's still me. I'm not saying that it's like totally made up or anything,
keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100. I am cocky and I could be considered arrogant at times, but I ended up pushing the boundaries of that persona. And I started, when I was going to tournaments, I was telling everybody I was going to win the event. I would post on Aaron's group, and I would say, I'm going to scoop all of you guys up free tomorrow. No problem. Go to the event. I would go to these events and be like, so who's going to be in the finals with me? Because I know I'm going to be in the finals. And, it was fun. Some people really enjoyed it. Some people really got offended because they were like, who are you? You think you're this god? And actually, to go on that topic, I ended up, you can say in a way, earning the name or people giving me the name. I ended up called the Dragon Ball God or DBS God. And it was just off of consistency in events, going to events, winning events, and just making sure that I don't miss any top cuts.
And look, let's draw some parallels here, okay? LeBron James called himself the king, and then it stuck, and people call him the king. It's Wayne Gretzky, the great one. No one called him that, but he never got in there and said, hey, don't call me the great one. I'm just throwing it out there. Anthony's not the first person to be called something that has to do with, being great, et cetera, et cetera. He's definitely not the first, and he won't be the last, so let's not vilify him for that.
Thank you, Andrew. And, so that's how that started. So I started, again, I was putting on this persona, and again, people liked it, some didn't. Now, moving forward, Jim, he spoke to me about, kind of just dropping the act. He said it wasn't really good for the community. He said,
and he was right.
And he was right. And he told me that, people are offended, and some people may not want to come to events, knowing that this is how you are. You're looking at yourself like a self-proclaimed god. Even if I don't mean it in a religious aspect, it just kind of might turn people off. So, I didn't quite heed his words. I kind of just decided to do my own thing, and I told him it was just an act, and it ended up biting me in the butt. So, long story short, I ended up making a mistake at one of the last events I played in, which most of you guys, if you don't know who I am, you can easily look at the Boston event. I'm pretty sure ARG still has footage on their in their group, and I'm pretty sure other people on YouTube have spoken about the topic, so it wouldn't be hard to find. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I ended up, it was the last game, last round, me being in the finals. And again, back to me, the persona. I used to tell people, again, who's going to be in the finals? Who's going to play me in the finals? And this is at the beginning of the event, and I would be in the finals. So it would be, it was like, I used to kind of speak things into existence, and it would work. It was working out for me. Now, moving forward, it's the finals, last game, so game 3. Me and my opponent are going at it. I'm actually in the winning edge in terms of, like, I started coming back, and I was going in for game. But my opponent ended up getting one of their pseudo combos from life. So he only had 2 life left. I was trying to game him with a single strike. He picked up a pseudo combo. I ended up attacking with one guy last. He already used majority of his cards. So if you watch the game, you can see how many cards he used. He ended up getting the last pseudo combo. So it was the Unbreakable Son Goku. He ended up getting it from life. Comboed it when I went to 25 at him. So I hit him for a perfect 25, meaning that if that card was anything else but a card that was 10k and drew a card, he would have lost. But he hit the one card in his deck that he could make it. And he drew into a Sensubing. It was like an epic moment, people cheering, running to the tables. And at that moment, I saw it, I was like, odds are I lost. Like, the odds of me living on my opponent's turn when he had quite a few battle cards on board, despite me having an ape on board, the odds of it were slim. So what happened was that a teammate, a person that I know personally, he came up, he started rearranging cards on the board, and basically told me, hey, Anthony, you should have done this instead, you would have won. But he didn't realize that I would have still lost. They actually equal to the same value. But, everyone was watching the game. And, again, people were just so caught up in that moment.
And also, to give a little more context, the match was not officially over, okay? All the floor rules will tell you that spectators are not supposed to interrupt or interact or touch anything on the table until the match is officially over. So this isn't something that a player who is in the moment trying to figure out a way out, a line of play that could prevent them from losing, is going to have any control over. That's really a TO thing. A tournament organizer like myself and all other tournament organizers out there, they need to make sure that there's a safe space for people in the finals to complete their matches so that they don't have any kind of variable that could pop up that would even come close to what happened with Anthony. And the fact that it's there and it's videoed should give you some context and an idea of, we all dropped the ball on this. It wasn't just Anthony. It was the community, the tournament organizer, and everyone else there. We all dropped the ball on this, and we all played a little part in what happened and led up to Anthony getting banned. But go ahead and keep going with that. Mm-hmm. So you're there, they manipulate the board.
All right, so the board was manipulated. He was showing me what I could have done. So instead of me attacking with my Gene and comboing out a Bardock 8 and comboing a Freehan, that's my play. So I equaled 25 with the 5k attacker. Instead, my friend was like, he brought out the ape on the board and he was like, attack and then combo the Gene. But again, it's still 25. It still equals 25. Now, from that point on, it ended up being a situation where I made a statement. I was like, the game is not over because I still had 2 life left. And my opponent did not have a double strike visible on board. Yeah. So, I don't know what I'm going to get out of my life. I might be lucky like he was when he survived. But obviously, odds are he had multiple attackers. So there was a high chance of me losing. But it wasn't 100%. It wasn't 100% that I lost. But anyways, what happened was that I told everybody the game is not over. So you hear my voice on maybe I think people on stream might have heard me or whatever. But anyways, I make that statement. There were 2 judges right next to me. There was one judge right next to me and one judge right next to my opponent. They didn't catch. They weren't able to stop the interference. They didn't stop people from coming up to anyone. It happens. I guess they were tired and it was the end of the day or whatever.
And the game's fairly new. A lot of these guys don't have that experience.
Correct. And so nothing was pretty much done. So my perspective, I start fixing the board from what I recalled at the moment. Me and my opponent are kind of just verifying what's on the board. The judges are helping us verify what's on the board. You actually see a judge point towards a card, and I have to fix it and put it in another zone or change the position of it or whatever. Point is, that's that. At the end of the turn, I have a card. It's called Planet Vegeta, which most of you guys know. It restands all your apes, all your great apes. So with my teammate, he ended up playing the Bardock on board instead of the whole Gene thing. So what ends up happening is I end up restanding that ape instead of putting that ape into the drop zone. None of the judges, the players around my opponent, no one realized that that was it, because it was still the same play. It just equated to the same value. And then, like, my teammate, he left it on board, and it was just like, it was just caught off guard. Yeah. So I made a mistake, but again, everyone was exhausted. It wasn't, if you were there, you would be able to kind of see what was going on. Context and perception and perspective. All of that is going to be taken into consideration when you're viewing a situation. But anyway, so moving forward, I restand 2 apes instead of 1, because I had 1 ape already on the board, but I restand 2. My opponent's turn. He ends up figuring out what he needs to do. He's getting ready to attack me. I end up taking a hit. Long story short, I don't get lucky. I'm not fortunate, and I end up losing the game. Now, when I lose the game, everything's done. We give congratulations to the new champion. I was holding it down strong. I won like the first 2 events back to back, and I was going for my 3rd one. But it happens, it's whatever. I end up leaving out of that place. We all go and grab food. I see people online going crazy. They're like, Anthony cheated. He cheated. He cheated. He cheated. And you're seeing people saying he cheated, and then other people are like, what do you mean he cheated? Like, the people that were at the event, they were like, what do you mean? We were watching their game. How did they cheat? So again, perception, context. So now we get into this big crazy thing where people are like, Jim, you allowed a cheater to make a play on stream. He's a cheater. He's bad. He's this. He's that. Because again, I was playing this type of character that just kind of just oozed in arrogance. I was just the guy that, you see me at events and I'm just going to beat you. And I'm letting you know I'm going to beat you before we even start the event. Yeah. And, it was something that some people liked. And again, some people did not appreciate that behavior. And again, it's my mistake on that. Now, moving forward, I get the heads up, Jim wants to talk to me. A day later, I'm banned. So it was like, there wasn't much of a time frame. It was like day to day, ban overnight.
Now, I'm gonna jump in here for a second, and this is more for transparency. An individual who's a part of this community, from time to time, is going to make a mistake. Some individuals are going to make multiple mistakes, and even then they're going to make multiple mistakes, and they're going to get multiple chances to redeem themselves, and then they're going to make some mistakes again. And the key here is to be as transparent as possible. There are going to be people that jump online and they're going to say, well, he also had multiple cards that he wasn't supposed to have in a previous tournament. And they're going to say things like, well, there was also the interaction between him and that kid where he told him he was going to, quote unquote, push in his poop and all this other stuff. But here's where I want to really kind of delineate between what's going on inside of a tournament and then what's going on outside of a tournament, and then what it means for celebrity. When you're elevated, like Anthony was here, into that position of you're a really skilled player and people are being really influenced by what you're doing, there is a social contract that happens between you and the community that you're influencing. And that contract states, don't do anything that's going to affect it in a negative way. And this is what I mean by negative way. If you're going to big events like ARG and your presence might cause people not to go to that event, then you're hurting the bottom line of the individuals that are pumping a lot of money and putting themselves at risk to organize those tournaments. And then again, if you're going to be going to like major events like nationals and things like that, well, then now Bandai is that's them, that's their official thing. So now you're kind of representing them, and are people going to come there because they really want to meet you? Are you a really positive influencer, or are you a really negative influencer and now they don't even want to go there because they know that you're definitely going to be there and they don't even want to be around you or the things that you're bringing to the game, in which case again you're affecting that bottom line. So for the whole sake of transparency here, this is what I want you to take away from everything that you just heard. He doesn't have to apologize for speaking, because we live in America. And in America, you're able to say the things that you want to say. But the thing that he did just apologize for, that he made a mistake for, was not listening to you, the community. Because you basically, and I don't know how many times you did it, including Jim McMahan, came to him and said, hey, this isn't good for the community. And all you had to do is kind of repackage it. You know, we talk a lot about individuals, what you get from them when you interact with them, and the way they are in their private lives are completely night and day.
Yeah.
All right, I'm guilty of it, so is everybody else. I guarantee you, you don't know Peter Catani. I know you've met Matt Combs a couple of times, and you think he's a great guy, but something in his private life might rub you the wrong way. And it's the same for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson or LeBron James or anybody else. You don't know these people, but at the same time, what they do well and what Anthony is going to work on and do well in the future is listen to the people that are in that community and try to, as much as possible, just be considerate of the things that they like and the things that they don't like. It's not saying that you got to be somebody fake. It's just saying, hey, don't tell people that you're going to push their poop in. Say things like, oh, I'm going to scoop you up, son. I think what we were talking about, who was it, not Dusty, but Scott Dashy.
Oh, Scott Dashy.
Yeah, he's got that persona,
Yeah,
right? He
yeah,
has the thing with the
Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. Listen here, brother. I'm going to take you down to Pain Town. I'm going to mill your cards out of your deck, and you're going to say, what the heck? Okay, so there's a lot of ways to do it, and I'm not even saying that he's got to do it animated or cartoony, but at the same time, he's going to be aware of what's going on. And I know for a fact, after meeting him and actually sitting down with him and learning about who he is as a person, I've got context on who he is now. And that's the reason why we're making this video, because one, I love this community and I want everybody to be a part of it. And I don't want anyone to be ostracized, and I don't want anyone to be banned. Two, I think we can all agree very objectively that people do need to get banned when they do something that's egregious, threatening physical violence, committing acts of physical violence, and all these other things. But again, I'm not the police. If we're going to ban them, it leads me to the third point. Can we create a road back for them to get back into the community, to come back and play the game? Now, in some situations, it's going to defer to no, because you've made a mistake. Like, for example, if I were to go to an event and I punch somebody in the face, that might be a way for me to never come back. That's just how it is, even if I was defending myself. And we'd have to accept something like that because it's physical violence. Somebody actually got hurt. If I threaten someone with physical violence, what was the context of the situation? And I think that we need to have a more open discussion about things like that. We do a lot of polls and votes and things like that. I don't mind doing something like that if it's something were to happen at an event, and let's say Scott Dashy told a person, hey man, if you keep running your mouth like that, I'm going to punch you in the face. And maybe we listen to the context of the situation. The fact that that kid said something that was racially disparaging to him or to someone else, and he was hurting somebody's feelings. And Scott's just trying to jump in and be a good guy. Maybe he doesn't say it the exact way that he probably should, or maybe he says it in a way that's completely taken out of context because nobody heard that kid say what he said, except for him and the person that he was saying it to. But if we can get to a point where we can start creating paths for people that have been banned to get back into the good graces of the individuals that they want to be a part of, this community, I think that is very important, and that's really what the crux of this video is all about. So we've talked a lot about why he was banned, and maybe he'll never be able to get back into the community, but I really hope that's not the case. Let's talk a little bit, I know we wrote down some things. Let's talk a little bit about the admins in this group. I want to say right off the bat that these admins have worked really hard, and I think you can agree with that.
Yeah, definitely.
I know for a fact that some of the admins have had some issues with Anthony in the past, and I can tell you like this. Look, you know, this kid's 27 years old. I call him a kid because I'm 34. I got 5 kids, and I say it all the time that every kid that you have ages you 20 years. So I'm really 134 years old. I'm an old guy. So anytime I meet anybody that's still in their 20s, I call him a kid. So this kid right here, he's 27. Don't judge him by the worst moments in his life. Judge him by what he does from this point going forward. I'm not asking you to forgive everything that he's done. I'm not even asking you to forget about it. All I'm asking you to do as admins of this group is to just be impartial and be objective. And if there's anything that he's done, let's give him an opportunity to talk to you in person and work those issues out if there are any issues or if there's anything that you just can't get over. Just discussion, you know, and that's really all it comes down to. I personally want to thank all the admins for making it possible for us to make this video and to really reintroduce Anthony to the community. Anthony, do you have anything you want to say to the admins?
No, I definitely, I would like to thank Aaron. He does a lot for the community in terms of, building it up, making sure that people have a place to go to, to learn more about the game. He built this group, and this group, it's a group where people can, learn about the game. And again, it's a place where, you can have some comfort. So while learning, you're also with thousands and thousands of other people that also care about the game. And for also giving me the opportunity to be able to post up a video that has me included, because I already know that a lot of people in the group, every time my name is brought up, it's like taboo. Like if I'm from, what's the guy?
Baltimore. He who shall not be named.
Yes, and that's it's like, don't you dare do the unspeakable.
Oh my goodness.
So. It sounds funny, but it has been like that. It's been like that for a while.
Very true.
I've had friends share my content, and it has gotten either thrown down or locked up, whatever the case may be, because it had something to do with me. And a lot of players, that are new to the game, when they are trying to learn how to get competitive, or they want maybe to try to create a profession out of this, something that they could do for their hobby, it's good that they have the opportunity to see someone like me and be able to look at my content and, learn from it. Because it hurts where if we're not all communicating with one another, we're losing information that you could be learning from other individuals. Even if those individuals you may not like per se, like take an example myself, you may not like me, but I bring a lot to the table when it comes to the card game. So you can still learn from me despite not liking me.
Agreed.
Like what he said, personal lives. Dwayne Johnson, in my opinion, he's an amazing guy. I don't know him personally.
Yeah.
Maybe in his personal life, there are things that you'll be like, if I knew his brother or sisters or whoever that knows him personally, they'll be like, yo, he's just an A, or he's just like, just really bad names.
I guarantee you, anyone that has been at the top of their game, and I mean anyone, has had to look at themselves and be like, look, I'm the best. Because you need a high level of confidence to be brave enough to take the risk that other people aren't brave enough to take. Those are the people who break a meta. Those are the people who stay up till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning every single day, just practicing, pumping it out, doing everything they can, so that way when they go to a competition, they leave it all out on the field. And those individuals, those strong type A personalities, I guarantee you, because I'm one of them, they think they're all that in a bag of chips. Now, there's a level of humility that comes into it and makes yourself more likable to people because of the fact that you don't want them to think you're an arrogant piece of crap. But at the same time, it doesn't change your thought process or your mentality. So, like Anthony said, you don't know these people. But this kind of thing, this interaction here, is a good way to get to know them.
Definitely. And again, I'm not saying that I'm humble or that I'm, like I can try to become more understanding, and that's something, again, where I'm saying communication is very important. I have been very cocky. Even my teammates, they'll let me know. They're like, Anthony, you're super arrogant, and that's part of your personality. Just, be a little easygoing. You could think you're the best. You could be the best, but it doesn't matter. You just got to still, keep people in mind. And that's something that I have to be mindful of. But outside of that, I want to thank Jim, and this might sound like, I guess it may sound bizarre from some of my supporters from the past that thought, like, wow, Anthony was banned unwrongfully and whatnot. There are different sides to a story, different sides to a coin. But at the end of the day, he banned me for you guys. He banned me because it was something where you had many people in the community that were for me and then many that were against. And it was like, you know what? This player's causing a lot of controversy. Let's do something about it. And he gave me, in a sense, since I made that mistake, it was an opportunity for him to kind of just like, you know what, let's remove him out of this situation and see how the community, feels. Let's see how they feel about it. And a lot of people were thankful that I was removed, whether it was hate or it was just in general people thinking that I was extremely toxic for the game. So those people were the ones who appreciated it. The people who knew that it was just an act, they were the ones that were like, man, it sucks. And, and I want to apologize to you guys because I did an apology video before, but if you didn't view it, it's an apology of my behavior because I could have avoided, the guys who like me and that like to see my, me play at events because I've gotten, messages of people saying, it was great watching you play. You made some plays I would have never thought of. And, it's just learning process. People learn from one another. And I want to apologize that you haven't been able to see me play. And you haven't been able to see things. Even this last tournament, it was great, to be in Texas. It's great to be here and see other people of high skill level, but we didn't have the right equipment to record everything.
And we wouldn't have been able to stream it live anyways because of the fact that we were still in this transitional period of if you show Anthony, you get banned. And we don't want that to happen. We've already talked to Aaron and all the admins. We're all kind of getting to the same page, hopefully, where we all understand that, you really just want your discussion group to be about discussion and not really about fascism. That's what it is, fascism. Fascism is you being that government, the people governing everyone else, the admins, telling us what we can and cannot say. Definitely set some guidelines and definitely enforce those guidelines. But shutting people down and banning them just for speaking their mind or trying to aid others by bringing in a strong influencer or someone who's highly skilled in the game, that's fascist. And I don't want to be about that. And I don't want to be associated with that. And I definitely know they don't want to be with that because of the fact that they came back and said, hey, please post the video. And I was blown away by that. I was blown away by Aaron. And I talked to him over the phone. We actually had an actual conversation. Really good guy, really smart, very on his game, and always thinking about you. And that's the reason why they banned Anthony in the first place. And like he was saying, that's the reason why Jim stepped in and said, okay, we're going to have to ban you. It was all about you. It was always about you. But me, I'm a part of you. I'm a part of this community. And my guys here in Texas are a part of this community.
Absolutely.
We're traveling. We're going to big competitions. We saw you guys at Nationals. We're going to see you again December 15th in Florida. And all I'm saying is I'm not the only one that wants to see Anthony there too. He's a part of this, whether you like it or not, and he belongs with us. He is family. And I think that we need to get to the point where we understand that you're not going to always like everybody in your family, but everybody belongs, and everyone should belong. Even these guys over here, who think they're the best, who think they can do everything. From the Bronx, Yankee Stadium, number one. Hey, he's putting in the time, the energy, the effort. He's trying to make your game better, and he's trying to make you better. That's why he's got the channel all about you. It's not really all about him. In real life, when you meet this guy and you actually get to know him, you're going to understand that he is thinking about you. And he's thinking about the community. And it was the best intention of his to try to get people excited about the game. And all he has said, and I think this is the part that makes it really genuine, is that he apologizes for not listening to y'all. Because anyone can sit here and say, oh, well, I'm sorry for what I did. And it doesn't come across very genuine. And that's not what he's saying. What he's saying is he didn't listen. And that's why he's connecting the thing that he feels bad about with the people that he was actually doing it for. That's genuine, I think. That's my opinion on it. I think you'll understand it when you watch this video and you listen to it. This last part specifically is for Jim, because Jim, if you're watching this, and I hope that you are, Anthony has been punished. He missed Nationals. It was the first big event. The people that really matter in the game, they were there, and he matters in this game, and he wasn't. I think he's been punished, man. Time served. Let's get him back on track. Let's get him there for December 15th. I'm going to be calling you. I'm going to be blowing you up. Jim, talk to me. What can we do to make this happen? That Saturday event is your event. It's not official Bandai. It's a cash money tournament. Let's get Anthony there. Let's get him back. Baby steps, right? One tournament, end of the year, make it his Christmas present. Let's do this. Make it my Christmas present. Make it the Christmas present of everybody. You want me to start a petition? If I start a petition, if I get enough signatures, will you do it? Let's do it. We got a little bit of time. We got this week, next week. I know he wants to go. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say before we cut out?
Well, I want to thank you, for having me.
It was my pleasure.
It's been an honor, and same thing for PPG. They invited me, and I was there. So, I like competing. Everyone knows that anyone who knows me, They know I'll go to any event, especially when it's something that I know it can be an opportunity for myself and an opportunity for multiple people to be involved, because that's the thing about card games or any hobby you're into. Like you want to be around people that share the same things you love to do, and that's your family. And that's why when I came down over here, I couldn't believe it, because everyone here treats people with respect and everyone welcomes people. Like, he welcomed me into his own home. He's been there for me. And in my mind, I'm just like this random player from New York, from the Bronx, Yankee Stadium. And I'm like, I can't believe it, and there are times where I would keep telling him thank you, and he's like, oh, don't thank me, and I'm just like, yeah, because it's different. I'm not used to that. I'm not used to that hospitality, and I think that would be the term to use. And when you're moving on to like other communities, especially when we're going to like events like this ARG event coming up, it's all a community coming together like a family to, have a good time. And it would be nice to be a part of it, but I'll see what you guys, how you guys feel about it.
Your band was too long. Let's do it, Jim. Let's make it happen. All right? Team Game Master, we're coming down there on the 15th. We're going to compete with everybody. Hopefully we see PPG and everybody else. And just to adopt a little bit of my man Anthony over here, we're going to get down in there and we're going to scoop it up. A little bit of Scott Dash in there. Listen here, brother. We're going to go down there. I'm going to bring a Hercule build. We're going to Megaton a chippity chop. A chippity, a chippity, a chop. Peace.